Warning! This will not just be a spoiler review of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3. I will also be talking about spoilers from The Last of Us Part 2 because I don't feel like tiptoeing around anything. I just want to speak freely as a fan of the games as well. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Why don't we? So we get this opening scene here with Tommy, I guess, like, cleaning or rubbing like a piece of cloth or whatever over Joel's dead body. I don't know, part of it made me think of I guess, spoiler alert for Batman Arkham Knight and Arkham City. Minor's not really minor, but I feel like everybody knows it. Anyways, it reminded me of the opening of Arkham Knight in some sense, where it was like them being like, just to be clear, he's dead. Like, because I feel like there was a lot of people coming off of Arkham City where they were like, is that character actually going to be dead? I feel like that's not necessarily going to be the case. And then Arkham Knight opens up and he's like, boom. I don't know. I mean, they pretty fairly established it in the last episode when they were literally dragging Joel's dead body. But just in case there were any more questions. But, you know, Tommy mentioned Sarah. Very sad. The scene is not in the game, so this is an addition that I think is quite well. I think it reminds us of where we started with season 1 with this character, and I feel like it's a good little bookend for him that he's with Sarah now, although I feel like that might be a little optimistic. Would Joel have gone to wherever Sarah is? I don't know, well, depending on what you believe. I suppose. We get this really heart-wrenching scene with Ellie getting her PTSD, seeing the Abster, you know, playing golf. This was a very heartbreaking scene. Like, Bella Ramsey's performance. Listen, you can say whatever you want if you think she's miscast. Personally, I think that I think it would have been reasonable for them to have recasted the role with somebody who just looks older. That's my main problem with the casting this season. But like, Bella Ramsey is still so good. Like, she gives a heart-wrenching performance in this episode. I will say it's interesting they have that little PTSD scene this early on, because I feel like in The Last of Us Part 2, I don't think we get a PTSD scene until like the very end of the game, where, you know, she's in the barn or whatever, and then she leaves Dina. Like, I feel like that's the only time we saw a PTSD scene in The Last of Us Part 2. Could be misremembering, but, you know. We get this scene with Jesse, where I'm pretty sure the only purpose of this scene is to just go, wow, look how hot Jesse is. Look how muscular he is. Wow, dude. You know, I'm a straight man, but, I can acknowledge things. You know what I mean? I like that, sorry. I'm sorry, I was just trying to remember why I took this screenshot. So, we then get Ellie talking with the therapist lady, which, I gotta say, I really like the therapist lady. Again, new character from not in the game. And while I do think that the show does a lot of, like, explicitly telling you what the themes of the story are, which I don't love, I love the actress who plays the therapist, and I think that her dynamic with, like, pretty much everybody is great. So I do like her interaction with Ellie. I like their banter and whatnot. But their talk in the hospital definitely makes me think that they had the talk from the game where Ellie is like, I just don't know if I can forgive you, but I'd like to try. Is that a good Ellie performance? I think so, personally. The talk, because I was wondering, did they actually have that, or did they not have the talk? Because I feel like they kind of faked us out when she comes home and then goes right into her garage or whatever. I think they did. Based off of this talk, I do think that they had that talk, because there's the moment where she's like, well, I have no idea what you could be talking about. I guess I'll just have to, I have no idea what I would have to forgive Joel about. So I guess I'll just have to forgive myself. So I don't know. I feel like the way that they said it makes me think that I think they did have the talk, and I think they're just waiting to deploy that scene at some point later on in the season. I'm not sure who left Ellie, presumably Joel's stuff. Like, is that his watch? Like, did they fix his watch or something? Did Tommy fix his watch? I don't know. I guess they left Ellie Joel's stuff. They also left his gun. So that's interesting. Another just great performance by Bella Ramsey, where she's just like rubbing up all over Joel's clothes. Like, there's the moment where Dina comes in and yells, "Ellie, are you home?" And then she's like doing the thing where she's trying to like stop crying and stuff. It's like it's great. Like, the Bella Ramsey is incredible. I like seeing Dina scheming. I like that they've made her just like really smart. I feel like that really shines in this episode, where she's really she's really smart about the way that she reveals the information to Ellie about, you know, how she knows who all of Abby's crew is. She knows where they're going, and she reveals that she didn't say it because she didn't want Ellie to just like take all the tubes out of her. I don't know, man. Like, this is the one thing that I will give the show. I mean, what am I saying? I compliment the show a lot. I like the show overall, but like, one thing that I will say about the show as well is that I actually really like Dina, like, pretty significantly more than I like Dina in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Dina in the game, but I just feel like the show makes Dina specifically like just a much more like present part of the story. Whereas I feel like in the game she was just kind of there as like a love interest for Ellie, but I just don't remember her necessarily being like such an active part in like, you know, planning for things, being like an integral part of I guess just like the function of like getting Ellie to do things. And I'm not really sure. I'm not explaining myself well, but I just feel like they make Dina just a much more vibrant and present character in the show than she necessarily is in the games, or in the game. But I don't know. I'm actually planning on replaying The Last of Us Part 2 at some point. It's hard, okay? Because I'm like, games just keep on coming out. It's like I'm also playing like I'm playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33 right now. And then after that, I think I'll be able to get to like replay The Last of Us Part 2, but who knows? Maybe something else was going to come out of nowhere. Anyways, I like this scene where Tommy snaps back at Ellie, where she's like, "What are you talking, man? Like, Joel would have been halfway across the country for you right now." And I actually think that this line also isn't in the game, where Tommy is like, "Girl, you can't tell me who my brother is, you girl." And he's like, I think he gives a better justification in this than in the game, where he's like, "Joel would have come across the country to save my life, but not necessarily if I was dead." So it's like, because he's dead, yes, we are going to be more measured and reasonable about it. We're going to involve the town. We're going to see what we can get in order to go do this. So I feel like I remember in the game he was a little bit more of just a pushover. And he was they kind of made it seem like he was just like following Maria's orders. Whereas I feel like in the show they make Joel not seem like as much of a pushover. Like, it makes sense that he wouldn't just go after them because Joel's not, he doesn't need help. He's just dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's good logic, I think. We also get introduced to the Seraphites, which, yeah, obviously way earlier than we get introduced to them in the games. We definitely see them get humanized a little more, because there's like a little girl with them, and you have the bald guy that was just on the screen, presumably her like dad, or maybe her adopted dad, or just somebody that's looking out for her. We see the little interaction, which is actually pretty cute. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, we also know that we're gonna get Isaac in this season, again, way earlier on than we saw him in the game. We're gonna get his character is gonna get expanded a lot more. So I think we're probably, what I assume we're gonna get is we're gonna get like way more of like the WF being awful and like hunting down the Seraphites. And I think they're gonna make the Seraphites an even more like sympathetic group of people, even though they're also just going to be like, you know, even though they're like transphobic or whatever, they're going to be transphobic against Lev or whatever, which is going to add some more complexities. But in general, I don't actually mind that, to be honest with you. Like, I like how everything is morally gray, right? Like, we're going to get to this later, but like Seth, he's not just like a piece of garbage homophobe or whatever. He also has other, you know, perspectives that end up like lining up with with Ellie and Dina, whereas other people who are maybe like more accepting of their, you know, their relationship are kind of pussies in certain respects. So it's like I like what they're doing here, where it's like, and to be clear, I also think the game largely had this perspective. Like, I don't think that the game was trying to tell you that Seth was this horrible guy or whatever. But like, I actually don't mind the fact that the show is going even more into expanding these characters and expanding these situations in order to make the moral ambiguity even greater. I don't mind that. So we then see Jesse. He's about to become a councilman, it looks like, right? Or he is a councilman already. So he's already like a part of the government of Jackson or whatever. And so, you know, Jesse's very much the adult of the situation. He very much was in the game as well, from what I can remember. And yeah, he gives Ellie the good advice, being like, hey, don't be you. Don't be an asshole. Thinking that you're just going to be able to yell and curse your way out of everything, right? Like, if you're going to make the case, you're going to have to, it needs to be a measured response. Then we get into the actual council meeting, and you have fucking this Giga Chad crop guy who's like, I don't care about Joel. I don't care about whatever revenge scheme you guys are planning up. I just want to talk about corn. And you know what? I respect it. You know, he's thinking about the important things, okay? Corn, chickens, agriculture. No, but that was a funny moment. We got this cringe Karen who's like, I actually like Joel, but I appreciate Joel, but remember, guys, anything before the but doesn't matter. Am I right? And she's obviously like advocating against going out to save Joel. Then we got this beta forgiver, fucking cringe, like, oh, we need to forgive them. Revenge isn't the way to go. Then we get the Giga Chad, the Chad Revenger. Yeah, Seth, my boy Seth coming out here. You know what? We forgive the homophobia. You know what? You know, allies in unlikely places or whatever. So overall, like, again, as a show, it's a good scene. The whole council thing. It's like, oh wow, they're really introducing the moral complexity of blah, 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 blah. But so like as a show, it's good. And if you've never played the game and you're just watching the show, you're not going to think much of this scene. But for me, as a player of The Last of Us Part 2, as a guy who's already experienced the story in the way that it was originally told, this just, in my opinion, feels like Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann seeing the backlash to the game and going and doing everything that they can to make it more palatable, to not make it as divisive. And so, I don't know, like, I just think it's a little cringe that we have this scene of these characters just like explicitly talking about the themes of the game. It's just like, like the game, I feel, just treats you like an adult more than the show does, right? Like, like especially this guy, where he's like, revenge is not the way to go. Revenge bad, actually. Like, he literally does the meme, right? Like, the meme of The Last of Us Part 2 is revenge bad, right? People trying to like dumb down the story to that. But then, like, the show has a character that, like, literally does that, which is just like, really? Whereas in the game, it doesn't try to tell you how to feel, you know? In The Last of Us Part 2, like, these things happen, these horrible things happen, and then you just see your characters acting on their emotions, right? Like Ellie just goes after the WLF, and like sure, like people try to, Tommy doesn't necessarily isn't on board, but like I just feel like the game does not moralize it. It doesn't try to like tell you the themes explicitly. You just see Ellie go on her quest for revenge, and you're on that quest for revenge. The game isn't trying to like put it in your head of like, oh, revenge bad? Is revenge bad? You're going on it with Ellie on her quest for revenge, and then slowly over time, you start to like slowly, you yourself, without the game telling you, you yourself, at least this is how I experienced the story. Like I myself stopped or started to realize the futility of this quest, right? And it's just, I just think it's a little cringe that the show is just like trying to already put those thoughts in your head before we've even gone out on our revenge quest. Like we can't even be on board with Ellie going on her quest for revenge without the show already telling us that it's bad. It's just like, why? Anyways, Ellie gives her measured speech. What does it give her? Nothing. They reject her anyways. Which, yeah, it is also just kind of interesting, right? Like, I remember in The Last of Us Part 2, was there a good reason why Maria wouldn't send people out with her? Because obviously they added the excuse of, in this game, of the zombie invasion. But in the game, I feel like Jackson was like just a relatively healthy town. I don't actually remember what was the main excuse as to why Maria wouldn't send people to go after Joel. I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't remember. I think she was just like, not worth it. Or maybe there was like a story element in the game of that they just couldn't really justify sending a bunch of people out there, but they just didn't like go into it as much as the show did. That might have been it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Again, I like this scene with the therapist and Tommy, where like the therapist clearly knows that Ellie is lying about something. She knows that there was something going on with Ellie and Joel that neither of them are telling her about. And so I guess she probably is like, this is leading up to her finding out about Ellie's immunity and Joel killing all the fireflies and stuff. And I guess they keep on talking about how her husband used to be a firefly also. Like, I wonder if that's going to come to a head in an interesting way. I'm not sure. So we'll have to see where that goes. But yeah, I really love seeing Dina like stop Ellie before she goes to be like, hey, I'm going to come with you. And again, I like that they make Dina like a strategist, right? Like she's like putting out the map. She's plotting everything out. She's talking about all the resources that they're going to need. It's like Ellie is very much like a bull right? She's just like, she's seeing red and she's just going to go after them. And I like that Dina's, and maybe she did this in the game and I just don't remember, but I like that Dina's sort of function in all of this is that she's the more level-headed one. She's really smart and she's planning everything out. I like that. I really love the end of the scene where Ellie's like, I didn't actually know that I could have just asked you. And then, Isabella Merced, again, she's also just like so fucking good in this. Like, I'll be honest, she's got me fluttering my feet. You know what I mean? Like I'm just completely smitten with this character when she's just like, well, now you know. I was like, damn. Like, I understand. Like, I understand Jesse just like continually like breaking up with her and getting back or like breaking up with her and getting back together with her, because it's like literally how you're not gonna find anybody better in the in the zombie apocalypse. Like you're not letting this one go, you know what I mean? But I like that not only is Dina a real one, fucking Seth is his name. What have I been calling him this whole time? Have I been calling him Seth? Is his name Seth? I think his name's I don't know, this guy, homophobe. He's also a real one. Shows up, and gives Ellie a better gun. They kind of make up, because they like shake each other's hand. But yeah, I like the little added context and storyline that they gave Dale in the show. So Ellie visits Joel's grave, and she leaves him coffee beans, which is interesting because, oh, actually, yeah, this was the other reason why I think that Ellie and Joel had that final conversation where Joel was like, if the Lord gave me one more opportunity, I would do it all over again. Because like before that, at the beginning of that conversation, Joel talks about how he traded for coffee. So that's seeming like her leaving coffee beans, I think, is a reference to that conversation. So yeah, I definitely think that they had the conversation, and I think that they're just waiting for the right opportunity to like play it. Which I assume. Yeah, I assume that at some point we're also going to get the museum scene, and then we're going to get the scene where Ellie like finds out, because I think we're going to get the scene where Ellie finds out that that Joel killed the fireflies, and I think that then is going to add the context of the beginning of the season as to why she was super angry with him. And then we're going to get that scene at some point. But, like, will all that happen in season 2? Or are we going to wait for season 3 to really add some of that to maybe, in some ways, keep up the pace or keep some of the pacing of the game? Not entirely sure, to be quite honest with you. We then get this interesting scene. I thought they were going to do it. Like this scene, I thought, because in the game, Ellie and Dina, they do the nasty in the weed farm, but in this scene or in the show, Ellie and Jesse are in the weed farm, and then Dina actually goes with Joel and witnesses the golfing match. So I thought they were going to do it here, but they ended up not doing it. I assume we are going to get that scene at some point, but. Yeah, again, I don't mind. I guess the show building up to it a little more. Although I will say, Dina, she's playing with my girl too much. It's like there's like a moment in this where she's like, you're gay, I'm straight. I just want to know what the rating of the kiss was. It's like that's like a brutal thing to say to somebody. Even though, like, she's like, Dina's clearly also interested, and obviously we know she's interested because we've played the game, but it's like, damn. Stop playing with with her heart like that. We then see them assume that Abby and her crew killed the Seraphites. Now, this is actually, I'm trying to remember how it happened in the game. Like, I guess I don't think they ever explained this, right? Where, like, did Abby ever like slaughter Seraphites like it seems like the rest of the WLF did, right? Like were they hunting down Seraphites until Abby met Lev and got more of a relationship with him? I don't remember if they ever explicitly said this. So I think So I don't know. Like, I don't know if Abby is technically a part of the WLF, but maybe she's not a part of the more extreme parts of it that, like, Isaac leads. Because I feel like that's kind of what they're setting up here in this show. Like, I don't think that Owen and Abby and, like, Mel, maybe Manny. Manny in this show seems a little more sadistic than he did in the games. Like, maybe they would be okay with slaughtering Seraphites like that. But it seems like I don't know that Owen would, especially Owen, when they were not wanting to kill Ellie. So I feel like we are setting up a bit of a thing where parts of the WLF are slaughtering Seraphites, but I don't know if it's necessarily Abby's crew. I don't know. Well, we'll see how all that plays out. Speaking of Manny, I feel like there was an extra guy in the game. There was like an extra guy that Ellie sliced up during Joel's golfing match. But he's not even in the show. And Manny is in the watchtower, where I feel like Ellie and Dina, when they first kill the guy that I'm talking about in the game, it's in a similar watchtower that Manny is in. It's like the environment looks the same. So it seems like that guy that I'm talking about, I hope you know who I'm talking about, it seems like he's just not in the show. Like, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm going to be completely honest. So, I don't know. I don't think they're going to kill off Manny super early. Because, we obviously have that whole sniper scene to get through at some point. So, I'm not sure, is what I'm saying. But, yeah, we end off the video showing off the threat, which is the WLF, which I did not get a good picture of here. Yeah, here we have, like, the WLF army, which kind of begs the question of how exactly are they going to play this in the show? Because, in a video game, it's not that crazy, right, to have Ellie just kind of, like, go through and just be able to take on multiple groups of people. But in live action, seeing a woman do all that already is like a bit of a leap, right? But with Ellie and Bella Ramsey specifically being as small as she is, I mean, they're going to have to handle it in a specific way. And to their credit, they haven't been ignoring that, right? Like, we've seen multiple, we saw at the beginning where, like, she manages to, like, judo choke that guy out during in the training session, but, like, they make clear to establish that, like, he held back, right? And then, and the encounter with Ellie, or not with Ellie, but, like, in Ellie's encounter with Abby's crew, it's like, in the game, I remember there were, like, multiple people having to hold her down. In the show, it was really just Nora. All it took was Nora to hold her and pin her down. And even when Manny kicks her, like, it, like, knocks the wind out of her. Even to the extent that, that hurt her so badly that she was hospitalized, which is crazy to think about, right? So it's like they're gonna have to handle it differently. We'll see how it ends up happening, right? Like, how do they manage to explain Ellie going on the killing spree that she's about to go on? We'll see. And, hopefully they've thought it through and it ends up being somewhat believable and it isn't just like, Bella Ramsey girl bossing her way through it. I don't think it will. Like, they've already shown that they've thought about this. So we'll see. But either way, let me know what you think about the show so far. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.